Hey there, I'm Ryan Somerville, and this is my podcast where I bring on one of my fellow climbers, talk about climbing and everything outside of it. Today I have Alex Chung. Alex is a close friend of mine. We climb outdoors, project climbs together. Recently we did a project together out in Bishop. I was super psyched when he sent the project. He worked very hard on it. I was actually there when he did it. He was out in Bishop, and like I said, and the video was sent to our little group chat, and I watched it. I didn't know it was really going on at first, but then I quickly realized, like, oh, it's Alex on Send and Direct, and he sent it, and I was just super proud of him. And but yeah, beyond that, he's just a great guy. He seems like to know a lot of people at the climbing gym, always having to spend time saying hi to everybody. And on top of that, he is a neuroscientist, which I am fascinated by. I always just ask him questions about just I don't know, trying to dub things down for me to really understand. But anyways, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So I guess just to always get into it like I always do. How did you get in climbing? How long have you been climbing?
I started climbing because a K-pop idol did it.
A K-pop idol? Okay.
And then I started climbing back in 2017, so it's 2013 now, so about 6 years.
6 years. What K-pop artist was this?
So you probably heard of BTS.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's like a member of BTS that was like rock climbing, and I don't know how or why, but it popped up on my YouTube algorithm, and it just like popped up on like my recommended videos.
Yeah.
I watched it, I thought it was like super cool, and I was like, I should try it out.
Were they just trying it out for like just one time? Were they actually like trying it like seriously? Like,
oh no, like he was just doing some circuit board climbing. I think he just wanted to showcase climbing, I guess.
Okay.
It was like part of this like series, but only that climbing video popped up, and then I was like, wow, this is super sick.
Just expose you to did you think of climbing into like, you know, rock climbing, like outdoor rock climbing before?
No, I didn't think it was a thing. I just wanted to get over my fear of heights at that time.
Okay.
And then I wanted to try something like rock climbing, and then I didn't know that you could have recreational rock climbing. I just thought that people go outside and were
to do it. There was the indoor facility, and this was in where was this at?
Well, the video was set in Korea.
Yeah.
Me watching it at home was in America.
So you had said that you started to go to the climbing gym with a friend.
Yeah. So what happened was senior year of high school. A lot of things happened, but there was a major life event where one of my close friends passed away, and it kind of reset my perspective of life and how short it is. And there were so many things I wanted to change about myself at that time, things I didn't like, things I wanted to better myself with. One of them being, I didn't want to be limited by like certain stupid fears that I had, or what I thought were stupid fears, like the fear of heights.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try climbing, and I told my best friend at the time, and she was like, yeah, we should go try climbing. I know this gym. And so we started climbing together. We started top roping together.
Oh, okay.
And then
where was this at? What gym?
It's called
Lake
Forest. It's in Lake Forest.
Lake Forest. Oh, okay. So California.
Yeah, California.
Okay,
I went to high school in Irvine.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like the closest gym at the time that wasn't super expensive.
Yeah.
It was like the cheapest possible option, and she's been there. And so I started climbing there with her. We top roped for a bit, and then things happened where she couldn't climb with me anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so I no longer had a
climbing partner.
Yeah, climbing partner for ropes. So I unexpectedly started bouldering, and I fell in love.
Oh.
Yeah.
So classic thing, it's like you had a climbing partner to do rope, and then you just like, all right, well, shit, I don't have any, I can't do that alone. So yeah.
And I think that really helped me get over my fear of heights, because like even rope climbing, I thought I would safe, and I never like felt that fear kicking in. But bouldering, like, because it's like pretty tall, you have to top out and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Yeah.
And starting out, you were saying that like you started pretty low in terms of like the grading system.
Yeah, so I think I was just like not fit at all at the time. I couldn't even do a pull up. I couldn't even hang from a bar for like 10 seconds at a time. So I was trying to do this V0, and I couldn't even hang off of like the starting jug.
Yeah.
For,
Was
like,
it like
more
a
than
low start or?
It's like not a low start. It's just like a regular start where
Yeah.
the jug is like where it should be.
Yeah.
The feet are really nice. And I tried to hold on to the start jugs, and I just can't hold on for my dear life.
Yeah.
So I projected this climb for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
And then I finally got it, and that was my first thrill of like being able to send something.
Yeah, getting the bug of like trying to like set your mind to something and achieving it. Yeah.
And then just like making like such incremental progress every time. The route, I just remember it. I still remember it so well. It's like a roof problem, and it's like 30 moves long. It's
and it's 30 moves
it's
long for
so
a bowl.
long.
Yeah. So I'm assuming how long were you top roping before you got into the bouldering?
like a week or two.
Oh, so your friend bailed on you super quick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That sucks. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but you were sort of used to. I guess a week isn't really that long to really get used to the whole concept of climbing, even.
Yeah.
So, but were you the fact that this climb was super long? Like, were you kind of acquainted with that because you had been top roping?
No, so I didn't understand bouldering at all.
Oh,
Or
okay,
top
okay.
roping for that matter. It's only been like a couple of weeks at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, the holds look nice.
Yeah.
And I hopped on, and then after like starting to project it, and then I would work on it, and then I'll be too tired to do any other climb in the gym.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that to this day, I think that was still the easiest V0 that was at that gym.
Okay, so you chose right.
I think I chose right.
Okay.
But it was hard.
Wow. Okay.
And so yeah, and then every time I go there, I would make like one more move, and I would be like, wow, I'm getting better.
Damn.
I was like such an unathletic kid as a kid, like that I never knew I could become better at sports.
Right. I think that's something that climbing does in general is like there's a lot of people that don't think they're capable of like this athletic achievement or just like and it to be honest like I think people have the impression of like you need like big muscles, do all these things, but climbing is a very skill set sort of thing, and to show yourself actually that like wasn't anybody like teaching you any of this, you taught yourself essentially, and which is great because you found like how to achieve progress yourself, which was that's
really
awesome.
satisfying. Just like a quick side story, like when I was in middle school, like just to show how unathletic I am, I took private lessons for tennis. Where like we would pay this instructor to like teach us tennis, right? Like and that's like the one job that he has. And like 2 months in, he like sits me down and he's like, Alex, I think you should find a different sport.
No.
And I'm like,
wow.
We're paying you to teach me how to play tennis.
Literally, you can milk this. Like you could keep on, teaching me. Like even though I'm not paying you for. Oh wow. Okay.
And he's like, I feel guilty teaching you. You have no future in this.
Oh my god.
And he like straight up pulls out a list of different sports I can play.
Yeah. Did you continue on tennis or
no?
did
I
you
gave up.
You gave up.
That was like a pretty eye-opening moment for me.
I'm sorry that happened, but I mean, yeah. Was that a decision you figured out on your own, or was it like your parents helped you?
Oh no, like my parents like wanted me to exercise, like and like play sports, and
get
stuff,
out there, and
then I was like, well, if sports aren't for me, then I don't need them either. So I was like, fuck it.
I mean, I've seen pictures. You showed me pictures of you when you're younger, and you're almost unrecognizable.
Oh yeah, I was really chubby as a kid.
Yeah, which is I don't know. That's great. Like that's something I love seeing with climbers in general. Just like the transformative, like their body and everything, and the confidence.
It just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened. So I guess over the years of you just getting like did you start making friends at this climbing gym, or you said that you kind of stopped for a little bit?
Yeah, so I started climbing, and then like a month into climbing at that gym, it was summer break, and then at that point my parents decided to move back to Korea.
Okay.
And that was my senior year of high school, so I moved back with them. And so for that summer I didn't really climb because I didn't know that we had climbing gyms in Korea.
Yeah, Korea.
Except for that one YouTube video where like K-pop idol climbed. And so I didn't really climb over the summer, and then I started school at USC.
Okay.
In the fall, and they had this club fair, and then there was a booth for climbing.
Oh. And
I was like, this is my calling. I'm gonna join this club. I'm gonna make a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started climbing with the team, and then everyone my year that joined were super good. So like when I first joined, like as you guys can probably picture now, like I was a pretty bad climber. But
were they all new to it as well, or
I think so, or some of them have been climbing for like like a year or something. But they were all like V7 climbers, and I was just like blown away.
And you were, at that point, were you were still probably like
I was like a V3 climber at that time.
Yeah. So you just kind of just fell out of your, like, you felt kind of distant from where everybody else was at.
Yeah. But I think my one goal that I had in climbing at that time was like, wow, I want to get stronger, not just so I'll get stronger, but I can climb with them.
Yeah, you were saying this in the sort of the pre-interview that like that's a interesting motivation, which is like, yeah, you want to go out, you want to work on the same projects as your friend and everything, but and that's still a motivation to this day. Like
I would say like even now it's more that like I want to be able to keep projecting hard things with my friends that are also getting really strong, like or stronger than me, and not get left behind. And I think that's a bigger motivating factor than like I want to get stronger for climbing for myself.
Yeah, I mean, but you're pretty successful at it, considering we were all like working on stuff together, which is very awesome.
I think it's because you guys are all like so much stronger than me, so I have this pressure of like not falling behind, which I'll get into later.
yeah. I mean, maybe the other kids in the group, but that's I mean, for me, yeah, it's definitely for myself, but there is a part of it where it's like, yeah, I'm friends with these people, I want to work on the same climbs, it's fun because we could figure out beta together, it just makes the whole experience like really fun.
I think it's like more than just like climbing the exact same climb together, but rather like being able to go on the same trips together without feeling like a nuisance. Like it's like fine if our main projects are different, as long as it's still fun for them to like watch and enjoy, or like climb a little bit with me, or I try their climb.
I mean, I think when we had gone to Bishop, or we had met up in Bishop, and sometimes I was just super chill just to hang out with you guys and just like kind of pull on the same climbs as you. Like it would generate interest, but we were just like, oh, we could go here, we could go there, whatever. But it's all like similar climbing grades, and it is hard when you're at different levels of climbing, and then you go to, you have to go to this person's spot, and then you have to wait to go to your project, or vice versa, and you don't want to be too greedy. But all of us, like, pulling on the same grades, it's like we can get our like what we had kind of set out to, or like just satisfaction.
Yeah, I think especially at that time when I started projecting this, and then we made our crew, and then we started climbing together. Like all of you guys had set the V10 or above, like at that point, and I was the only one who hadn't.
So did that like create a big pressure for you to be like, you wanted reaching V10 at double digit? Like, was that like, okay, now I feel like I fit in a way?
So for me, like the grade itself was never a big part of climbing for me. Like actually, like so I was like, I just wanted to be at the same place as you guys. And then Kongi, my roommate, Kongi gave me so much shit for not being a V10 climber.
Wow, like,
and it like really, like I think riled me up to like want to send V10.
And was this how long was this a course over? Oh yeah, I'll do it. How long was that like happening for? Like how long did you sort of mess with that? So like
I think how it happened was like we started climbing. I got on center March last year.
Okay,
for the first time I made like no moves on it except for like the first jug to jug move. And then I was like, oh, this is like a sick climb, and it's like everything I like in a climb, where it's not too tall, like the moves are fun, but it's like kind of like max effort every single move. And it's not very long, and it's not very scary, and it's not like
not very far from the ground.
And so I was like, this is the perfect climb for me, and I got really set on it. And then at that point, like Kongi had already done 2 V10s, and you guys had already done like V11s and above, like all the rest of you guys, right? So I was like, and then we started and then we had summer, and then we all started climbing together as a crew. And then I realized I'm like falling behind. Like I need to get my shit together.
And
so I tried to like really train a lot harder. And then Kongdi, I think he was trying to be supportive and motivating by giving me a lot of shit for not
just
climbing.
kind of like giving little jabs here and
yeah,
there
to keep me going. And I think it really, really worked.
I mean, it also like is a testament to you guys' friendship where yeah, naturally, like if it was anybody else like kind of throwing jabs at you, like it could be very mean like that. It's not a very nice thing to do. But Condi and you have such a fun sort
interesting dynamic.
Yeah, interesting dynamic that I love seeing. I love seeing how you guys. I mean, you guys are roommates, so and it's just I just see the playfulness and everything, and how you use that as motivation, which
definitely.
It's like it could be definitely a unhealthy thing for some people, but you definitely use it as like motivation.
I think I've learned to like take everything Kongdi says, filter it, and then process it. So I have like a internal Kongdi block where like if it goes too harsh, I'm like, okay, whatever, just Kongdi. But for
I
the
just
most
won't
part,
take this seriously.
But for the most part, I like try to. I know he means well.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single time he says anything. So
so you touched it last year March, and then started to really get serious about it this this current season technically.
So I started getting back onto it in November, and then during that year I didn't want to touch it again until like I felt ready for it. And the first time I touched it again was in November, and then I felt pretty strong on it. I made it all the way to like I guess the last hand position, but my feet position were wrong. And I couldn't figure out how to get my feet up there at all. And then the next season I went, I could slightly move my feet. Like that season, next time I went, I could slightly move my feet. And then every time I went one more time. I could move my feet one more time. And then I was getting to a point where I could attempt to throw. But I would be so exhausted. And then
so I guess to kind of, if anybody doesn't know the climbs, it kind of, you're talking about for the throw for the last move.
So how the climb goes is like you'll start on a really nice jug to like pretty juggy crimps, and you'll get onto like some precarious slopey crimps, and you'll have to make a big right hand move to a big slopey crimp reel. Move your left hand again, adjust feet, and then just like huck it to like a really good jog.
Really good jog, but if you miss it, you miss it.
Like it's really bad. And so so it ends on a bam, but that bam was like ruining my life.
How many times would you say you got to, I get, this is so projecting in a nutshell, but like how many times would you get to that point and just kind of like biffed it, or just like couldn't get that last move?
So like the climb for me was like, the problem for me was that I would get really tired after like 5 attempts. Like it's really intense, the climb, and I'm also like not that like strong physically, so I'll get exhausted really fast. And so I would have 5 good burns each time I went, and then that's all I have for that climbs, right? So I just had to give it my all for the 5 attempts. And then the very last time I went, right before the trip I sent it, I got to the position really well. I threw and I just missed. And I was like,
was I there for that trip?
And you said the next time I go, I'm gonna send it. And I didn't believe you. I was like, this feels impossible.
I mean, there's a couple times where I was just like, it just looks, you have all the pieces together. I was able to see you process it together, or like kind of like piece it together, and just like, you definitely have this, like it, the consistency of every move, the way you're doing micro beta and everything, it was like very together. Like it's very of the way I would project as well.
And I completely didn't believe you, and then I had to go to Korea for winter break and stuff to visit family, and I was like, okay, this season's over. Like I can't send this
because you would regress in your strength and
because
everything.
There's not that many crimps in Korea. I can't boulder outside in Korea. It snows super heavily in Korea, so it's really hard to go bouldering in Korea outside. And then I would eat a lot like of good food in here, which I don't regret, but I knew that I would be really out of shape for bouldering coming back, and I was like, okay, I'm done for like a while. And then I come back and I felt weak. I felt really weak.
Interesting. So you just, in your head, you were never like, okay, this thing is completely out of the realm of possibility.
I was like, okay, let's aim for next season, like next like upcoming winter season, instead of this spring. And I was like, okay, whatever happens, and let's just stay healthy. Oh, hello.
We have a friend here. He'll show up every now and then. So you were just kind of like,
half given up at that point.
Right.
And then one of our friends from Korea, EJ, he came to visit his family here.
Yeah.
And then at that time we started climbing a lot, like when he was over like at the gyms in LA, and then we really wanted to show him Bishop.
Of course, yeah.
And so like the whole objective of that last trip was to show EJ Bishop.
Right.
And so we went to the Happies, we worked on like sending kill order and kill on site.
Yeah.
And he was getting really close, and I was kind of working on it with him, and I was getting really excited on the climb.
And were you like really like putting a lot of energy into it?
No, I was just like having fun.
Oh, just having fun. No expectations. Just
no
like,
expectations. Like I was just like, let's just try it. Let's just have fun. Like this trip isn't for me. It's like about like showing EJ like a good time in Bishop. And then I also wanted to show him the milks. So the next day we went to the milks. We did all the classics. Like we did like Ironman Traverse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like it was like the whole objective of that day was just like to show him the milks.
Yeah, just like the classics. Yeah. Show him the
And we were all really tired at that time, so we were like, okay, let's just like hit the really easy classics and then head out. Especially because like it had snowed really badly during that time.
Yeah.
Where like we couldn't park our car at the lot, we would have to walk in.
Yeah, it was like a little bit before the Grandma Peabody, right?
And we were like, okay, what if our car gets stuck? So we were like worried about that, and like let's just not stay here for that long. And we were about to head out, and then
don't do it. Sorry.
On the way down, I just wanted to show EJ my project that I had Center Direct, and I just wanted to try it one more time just to see how I feel like, and to see where I am on that climb, like how I would feel on it. So I started pulling on it, and the first time I did it, I felt awful. I was like, oh my god, I feel like I regret so much.
Interesting. I couldn't even regret like even attempting it.
Yeah. I like would start it, and then like what I said were like jogging crimps I felt super heavy on, and I was like okay, maybe I'm not warm, like, but I was like getting really in my head about it.
Yeah. And
then like everyone else was working on like way harder climbs on there.
Oh, it was like Magnetic North.
Yeah, Magnetic North, and then Firewall, I think.
There's so many names or climbs on that wall.
There were like someone was doing like a V11, V12 on it where you have to top out Grandma Peabody.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it snowed on top.
Yeah.
And so like they had shoveled snow to climb this.
Oh my god.
And then he did it like when I was there watching this happen, and I got like super excited. I was like, okay.
Oh, so that energized you.
Yeah, I was
okay.
Let's really just get into the zone. And then the whole purpose of my attempt then was like, let's just have fun, and I just want to feel one with the boulder. I just want to feel connected to the boulder, because that's why I really like bouldering outside.
Yeah.
And then I just did it, and it felt like super easy. Like I didn't get it at that time, but like I fell going for that jog again, and I never thought I would be able to get there at that attempt.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting. Oh, maybe I'm like back to where I was like before I left. And so I went, and then I took a big rest, and I was getting tired at that time. So I told EJ, hey, can you like just record me? So I have a progress video of where I am at that time.
Yeah.
And I like sat down, and I was just sitting there for like a good minute. And this is probably when the video started, and you were wondering what was happening.
Yeah.
Because nothing was happening except for like some kids running around.
I didn't even know it was you. I just played the video, and I was just like, oh yeah, you're shirtless, and I was like. Were you normally shirtless when you were?
I think it had warmed up a little bit, but then there was snow outside, and so like I like the cool breeze, but it wasn't like too breezy where it was like uncomfortable. I just wanted to feel like as calm and one with the rock as possible.
Right.
And so I just sat there, and I was just like, okay, let's have fun. And I was just like, have fun. Let's just like take it easy, and I just want to feel connected to the rock.
I saw you when I was there when you were projecting the times before. You were kind of like you would take a moment to like sort of like
calm down,
and is that kind of like being one with the rock to get you channeled in there?
So my philosophy is just like I can't try too hard or else I'll mess up.
Right.
So I need to just
the nerves are too tight.
I need to calm down, and I just have to not think, and I just like erase my whole mind from everything except for feeling the rock. And so I was just sitting there until I felt ready to do that, and then I started doing it, and I was like, okay, I hit it off, like the hands felt pretty off, but I was like, okay, now I'm not gonna think about it, I'm gonna just keep going. I hit the left hand, and I hit the right hand, the big move to the right hand, and I hit it wrong.
Oh wow.
I hit it super wrong, like I had it super split, and I was like, one of my pinky parts were falling off, I could feel it, and then I was like, but I feel not weak right now. So I just like readjusted. I hit it perfectly.
Oh, okay.
I was
Okay.
like, interesting. That's all. And I just feet and then it cut. I was like, oh shit, I'm dead for.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then I just like placed my foot and it stuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the only thing that was, I was like, don't fuck this up, just go. And then I blanked out. Yeah. And then when I opened my eyes, I was on the jug.
Oh my
and
God.
I just hear Hyungjin screaming behind me. I'm like, oh shit. He's like dilated. I'm here. I can't lose focus.
Because you can literally like hit it and then swing out and then like
I've seen those videos. And so I just like was like, I can't focus. And then I matched.
Yeah.
And then I just like don't scream when I climb.
Oh yeah.
I don't usually scream when I climb.
No, you don't, yeah.
And I just like by instinct, I just let out this like guttural scream.
Just a very instinctual sort of primal sort of scream.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I just like screamed. I got down. I was getting super emotional the whole journey through this. And it kind of, because this climb taught me a lot, not just about like technical things or things I need to improve, but like what climbing is to me.
Yeah.
And then in the background, I hear Hyungjin also sobbing.
Oh, really?
He was like tearing up.
Oh,
and I was like, oh my God. And I actually teared up after all of that.
Yeah, I genuinely, like, when I watched it, I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I was like, oh my God, he sent it, like, it just, being along your personal journey and everything like that, but, I mean, I didn't even know, like, mentally that was going on in your head, in terms of, like where you at, like, in your strength, and, like, just kind of already kind of given up, and I think there's something really, too, like, the no pressure sort of thing. Like, hey, I'm just gonna like hang out, like I'll try it. I won't have much expectations. And I have said things like that before, and I think that's where the nerves could get the better of you at times. And do you think that like was a really like?
I think so. Like there was no pressure at that trip, right? Because I had already like kind of accepted the fact that I'm not sending anything this trip. Like I felt terrible. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I feel healthy, but like, let's just use this time to get stronger, and then just like enjoy Bishop, because like it's beautiful there. And then show EJ a good time, and then I sent it, and I was like, holy shit.
Gotta celebrate.
And then the first thing I said after I came down was like, fuck you, Kongdi. And he wasn't even there.
Was that in the video?
It's not in the video. But it's like after the video is all turned off. But like I just like shouted like, fuck you, Kongdi. And then it was like a really, really interesting journey. Yeah,
I mean right now currently Bishop is like even in the happies and maybe even the sads, it's like unclimbable because the roads are super fucked. So it's like getting to do that when you did in such a small sliver. Like if you waited a couple more weeks, it probably would have been doable. So it was like pretty perfect timing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh.
Sorry. Interruption. He's very anyways. And
I think about that now. I just like look at all the update posts from the Rangers.
You're like, I'm so glad like I wouldn't have been able to get out there.
Yeah. I'm like, I got that checked off. Like, so that was a pretty productive season.
And you feel like you can breathe pretty easily. Yeah. Is there like any more like prospects of like projects that you want to like, or boulders that you want to jump on that probably will kind of carry the same weight as that one? Or
I think not for a while. I think the one that I do see in the future is Evolution Direct. Not Direct, Evolution to the Lip.
To the Lip, yeah.
Not because of like the moves themselves, but it's just really scary. Yeah. And in my mind, like I didn't know about the existence of Center Direct or anything. Like when I first started climbing, that was the first time I saw a V10. And I was like, holy shit, that's cool. And I never thought I would be able to be in a position where I can try it.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And then the last time I went with you, we tried it. Yeah. It felt hard as shit. Yeah.
It's the first couple of moves. Honestly, the rest of it's pretty chill. As long as you don't get the height like really like messed with. It could really mess with people's mindsets of like, oh, I'm moving higher and higher. But if you got pads, it's not so much of a bad fall. Yeah.
And so I think if I do Evolution to the Lip, I would feel like pretty it'll feel pretty surreal to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a staple, or it's just like a
mega classic.
Yeah, of just the bishop or just buttermilks in general, or just like all of climbing really. But and that would really like just. I mean, I think you're perfectly capable of it. So
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
and then it'll be really cool if I can get kill on sight. Mostly out of spite. Because comedy hasn't done a V11 yet. And
okay, yeah.
And so if it'll be and he's like a much stronger climber than I am, like by far.
Yeah.
And he's already done multiple 10s, so I think it'll be really cool if I can just be, I guess, like a motivating factor in that way, where he's always been ahead of me in climbing. Where
and then you could sort of jump ahead.
Yeah, and like kind of like nudge him to like, hey, like why aren't you trying hard?
It's funny that like your guys' sort of back and forthness is just like it's could be looked at a little bit toxic, but it's also like very like motivating and healthy in some regard.
I think if it wasn't the fact that it's Kongdi, I think I would not be friends with that person. But I think both Kongdi and I share like a very core value, which is that we value the people that are around us, and we only want the best for them, or at least the people that we really care about. And so I think with that understanding, we know that we come from a place where we mean the best for each other.
Exactly, yeah. And this is probably something that is like a little bit of a side tangent, but I know there was like one situation that sort of challenged your guys' friendship, if we're on the topic of So I guess to set it up was it's the Grandma Peabody again, but what exactly went down on that?
So he's a really strong climber, but he for some reason wanted to do a lot of high balls. Like Hyungjun, he used to be a pro climber, like our other roommate.
Yeah.
And they were climbing a lot together outside, and so apparently they just started doing a lot of high balls together. And then Kongdi was like, I want to try Southwest Arrest.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't really know what it was.
Did you know it was a high ball?
I knew it was a high ball. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty high, but it's like a jug rail.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like, oh, it seems good.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, Kongdi, if you're going to do it, make sure like you're pretty set and you know what you're going to do with each move. Like, you're for sure confident.
Yeah.
And then, on the last freaking move, he's like, do I really put my heel up here? Do I have to rock over?
And it's on that big flake, right?
Yeah, giant flake that's super, like, hollow right now. And people are saying it might trip any moment.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I was like, oh, shit, he might die.
Yeah. And for the record, this climb is probably like 40 feet?
Yeah, it's super high wall.
Yeah. It's on the Grandma Peabody in the Buttermilks, and it's a 5'9", but could be very risky if you don't.
It's basically free soloing a first pitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the height wise, and so he was like rocking over, and he was like, "Do I really do this?" And then at that point, I just had pure panic. I was like, "If he falls, there's nothing we can do from down here. Like even if he lands on a pad,
there's nothing.
There's nothing.
Yeah." And
so I was just like, okay. I just literally turned around. I couldn't watch it.
You were just so nervous.
I was so nervous for him.
Yeah.
And then he got up, and I was like, okay, he's okay. He's safe. And then I was like, at that point, a little bit irritated at the fact that he didn't really take his safety all that seriously by doing this climb where he wasn't 100% secure.
Yeah.
But I also like justified it by saying that, oh, you know, he's never done this before. It's like the last move, like. Obviously, there's no way you can like
really know,
right?
Yeah.
But then on the down climb, like we talked about the down climb like for 30 minutes, like the exact route, how to get there.
Like before he
got on there, we had like the whole game plan of like you're gonna go up Southwest and we're gonna come down this face. The Grandma Peabody, and then he gets lost up there, and we're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And he starts coming down the wrong side.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I just started panicking. I was like, if he just trips and falls, he's gonna die.
Yeah, just tumble
downwards and die. Yeah. And then so I was like super worried, and then like all I had at that point was worry. And then like obviously like we can talk about this now because he's super alive and well. Like nothing happened. Like, he got down. He's like super safely. But like the moment he got down, all that worry turned into anger.
Oh, okay,
like, anger out of like the fact that he didn't take his life that seriously.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And then you would have to sort of figure out what to do with him if he did get, in fact.
No,
injured.
It wasn't that. It was like it wasn't like what I would have to do with the repercussions if he fell. It's just like the fact that he treated his life who is like a really dear friend of mine,
Right,
that
right,
I
right.
really value, he
Yeah.
treated that life recklessly, or in my opinion, that I had thought so.
Right, right, right.
And so after he came down, the moment he came down, I feel, I feel bad about this now. I didn't yell at him. I was like, hey, Colin, I was like super reckless. Like I'm like super upset at like what you did.
Were you yelling at him or anything? No, just
I did
very
just, like,
calmly.
calmly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I think that also threw him off because like he's like used to like heightened emotions.
Alex, yeah.
And be like what's, and then because I was like that serious, I was like
Right.
this is like super like reckless. I can't believe what you did,
Mm-hmm.
and all that jazz. And he's like trying to wave me off.
Right. It's like, it's fine.
It's
I'm
fine.
down,
It's fine.
yeah.
And then we get into the car, and then we stop talking at that
Wow.
point. And then we get to the car, and like we just don't talk the entire way down.
Is it just you two?
No, we had some other people in the car, but like we were just like I was.
Everybody was just.
No, like they were talking, but me and
okay.
Conji were not talking,
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
like not as obvious. And then we get back, and then we talk, and he's like, you know, Alex, like you like ruined that moment for me.
Oh wow.
Like it was like a point where I felt like the most high, and like the most elated, and you just took that moment away from me
Interesting.
by
okay.
like just coming after me like that, like
Yeah.
with all your worries and stuff. And then like we talked a bit more, and we came to a realization that it's like his life is his own,
Yeah.
and all I should do as a friend is be there to be supportive of like all the decisions he makes. Like his life is not mine, so I can't take ownership or like tell him what to do. I'm not his parent or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I came from a place where it felt like a parental kind of like care
yeah,
instead of a friendship kind of care.
yeah.
And so like it kind of like after that, I think we got really close after that conversation where we had a deeper understanding of each other's values and stuff.
Did it all get like sort of resolved in that trip, or was it?
Oh
like,
yeah, we talk about things pretty fast.
Okay, okay.
Whenever we're upset at each other, like we can pick it up.
Okay, okay.
And
But
then
this
what-
is obviously the biggest thing, so like it could have lasted, maybe a week but it
Yeah.
was all within just that's right after it happening.
I hate tension.
right.
So
right.
whenever I notice something's off about
Yeah.
like him or like my partner or like my friends, I'll just like hey,
Try
what's-
to dress it as
what's happening.
yeah. Which is good on you because like even myself have been like very, I just don't like to address it because it's a heavy topic.
Yeah.
But you just knew that you could trust to expand on it and
Yeah.
everything. So, so you just tried to not interject too much on like what he wants to do and just let him do his own thing.
Yeah, I think like if he wants to try a high ball again, like
Mhm.
obviously I would be worried,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
it's not my place to project that worry to him.
Right.
Especially especially in a moment where he's like really enjoying his success, like his like all his achievements from
Yeah,
doing this, which
yeah.
is like which he should be like he accomplished something really great,
Yeah.
and a huge milestone on his part.
Mhm.
And so he should be able to like really enjoy that moment for himself.
Without you interjecting.
Interjecting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which, I mean, for you guys' age, like this happened a couple years ago, right?
This happened last year.
Last year, yeah. I mean, for you guys to have that very rich of a conversation or that interaction, like, and overcome it, it, at your guys' age is very. I don't think I was having that complex of a realization of friendship at that age. So
I think we just care about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the core, that's it.
Which is very refreshing because I've seen you guys, like I said earlier, seeing you guys, mess around and be very callous toward each other and just like brush it off like it's nothing. It's like just it's just watching like a sitcom or something like that.
He feels like a brother. Like he genuinely feels like a sibling. Like both him and our third roommate Hyungjin, they both feel like genuine siblings.
Yeah, you guys make a very. I've been over, and it's just seeing you guys' interactions is just. I mean, it's a climbing house, and you guys are just like. I mean, not even a climbing house. It's even beyond that. Just you guys, it's just like
chaos.
A brotherhood, if you will. But that's it. I'm just. First time I heard that story, I was just very shocked to hear that. But I mean, that's sort of the climbing experience sometimes, where we do see our friends are being put in very dangerous situations, like sometimes we can project our fear onto them a lot, and that could actually like, even if they're still in the climb or they're about to do this thing, it could sort of impede on their mentality.
Yeah.
And sometimes we should be very wary of, like, even myself, like, not to do that, not to speak up, because they're probably going through something themselves, and you want to have the best mindset forward so nothing does bad happen.
I think it's like what me and Kongdi have settled on. I think it's different for every other interpersonal relationship.
Right. You guys know each other's boundaries, and you've set them up clearly.
Well, I mean, we like still push it a lot of times, but I think for the big boundaries, like, we understand each other better now.
Yeah, and that's a real, like, good friendship was, like, understanding it, not like not touching him too harshly, or, like, if you do, you're able to have an adult conversation about it. Man, but that climb in general, I've done it before, like, twice, and, like, it the second time was the worst one because it was, like, super windy, and, like, I think I went down the wrong way on the down climb, and I'm just like, why did I get myself into this? So it could definitely, some people are like, it's no big deal, but I mean, I think if you don't know where you're going, sometimes it can be a little sketchy. But in my defense, the second time we went down, it was like, I don't know, like 15, 25 mile an hour winds. Oh shit. And I'm just up there, I'm like,
don't push me, wind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to sort of cover as well is, like, you're a neuroscientist, so in training, with that, like, is that balancing that with your life, or your climbing and your life and everything like that? Like, obviously it's a lot of hours. You're getting your PhD right now.
I'm trying to.
Trying to. Is that, like, you have to working up to doing your, like, thesis and all that?
Yeah, so it's on average 5 to 6 year program, but it really depends on how long your thesis project takes.
Okay.
And so the objective of a PhD program, I think, in biological sciences is to find a story that no one else has told before about a specific biological mechanism or biological engineering feats that no one has done before.
Wow, okay.
And so I think at first it was quite daunting trying to do both climbing and research at the same time, but I think with anything, I think it's just like any professional career, you just have to learn how to balance life, and I think it's just like a homework in life in general, try to figure out where you can place all the pieces that are important to you.
Yeah.
But I think it works because I genuinely really love work.
Yeah, I mean, I see your Instagram post, and, like, it's just, like, green little, like, webbings, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, and you'll, like, have
those are brain cells.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know what is going on. So which I find just super fascinating. But I don't think a lot of people could say that, like, in the climbing community alone, that, I'm a neuroscientist, and, like, you're literally working on brains and whatnot.
I've seen, like, a couple of other PhD students, and I think some of the colleagues from our school are climbers too, but I think for me, I can't give up anything, like climbing or neuroscience.
Right. You're just so passionate about it.
Or all the friends that I have that I want to hang out with, and my partner. Like, and I think it works because I know how to prioritize, like, what matters to me.
Right.
And sometimes I'll be like a little bit overwhelmed with everything if, like, one part gets too much. Like, for example, if work gets too much, like, if I have, like, deadlines coming up, or something like that, where I have to put in a lot of hours, and the other aspect of my life, climbing and my friends and my partner, I can't dedicate as much time as I would like to.
Yeah.
But I think, especially with people, they understand, like, my schedule and stuff, so they understand that we can't hang out all the time. But I would always feel guilty that I'm not spending enough time with them,
especially as having a partner. But that's where communication comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's very understanding of everything.
Yeah.
And then climbing, I think, is a little bit less understanding of the lack of time commitment.
Oh my god, yeah. You take a week off. I had a pretty, like, no, like, physical, like, sort of, like, activity for a week, and I felt it. Like, it's just, climbing is such a intense sport that you just always have to have this momentum going.
Yeah, but I think I'm kind of used to that feeling because I played cello growing up.
Oh, okay.
So I played cello for, like, 12, 13 years at this point.
Holy, Maybe I knew this about you.
Oh, yeah.
Can you, like, still play it?
Oh yeah, so I stopped playing for a couple of years when I like got really into climbing and work, but I just picked it up recently again.
Oh, you did?
It's not as kind to me as it was before, but I really enjoy playing cello, and so I played starting fourth grade, and until all the way through college. I took some time off when I started my PhD program because I just couldn't handle everything that was going on.
For sure, yeah.
And I don't play it like as a high caliber as I used to, but yeah, it's just like a good friend. But because of that training with the cello and all, like you need to give it like constant attention and dedication to like better yourself, and it's really hard. Like
that's what I was gonna ask, is like that doing that at such an early age, it taught you like the more time you put in, the more it will give you back.
Yeah, I think my cello teacher, she was like the greatest life-changing a mentor that I had in my life.
Yeah.
Apart from my brother, but she taught me what it means to try hard, like what it means to like really hone your craft into bettering yourself, even if it means just like 0.001% better.
Yeah,
like just incrementally getting yourself used to being so bad at something and being able to see that you're so bad at something and see exactly where you're bad at something.
Interesting.
And so that really shaped, I guess, my philosophy on life in general.
How to get better, or just like where you start from, and like you can always get better at something.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how bad you are.
Besides tennis.
I guess.
I'm just joking.
But there's always like a... And I think because you're bad, that means there's something you can work on.
Right.
By working on it, you will inevitably get better.
Do you think you're inherently, like, you start at a very low level with most things? That yeah.
I don't.
No.
Like, I genuinely think that like I'm not talented in anything, like at all. Like,
but you're able to apply a lot of like dedication and hours to it.
I think I am able to find a lot of joy in a lot of things I do, which is I think the biggest gift that I have. Yeah. Is like I tend to find the little joys of everything a little bit easier, or I try to find those things, and I think that makes it a lot more enjoyable trying to either get better at something or just enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Like just even if it's just a very like minimal task to do work or something like that. It's like you're able to find what that little exercise, what you're getting from it, and like how that can improve you just the smallest of it. Yeah. I mean I totally, I've learned that over the years, and like, okay, like this is sort of mundane, but it is part of the bigger picture that you're trying to achieve. But that's awesome that what was your cello teacher's name?
Jenny O. If you're watching this, you're probably not watching this. but
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty, like that made obviously a huge impression, just like your mindset. Yeah,
it was really hard though, like learning that. Like I started taking lessons from her when I was in 6th grade, 7th grade. But she was the harshest teacher I've ever had in my life. Like,
was she kind or was she pretty brutal?
She was brutal.
Oh, okay.
Brutal. I think she like comedy, she meant it from the best of her heart, trying to make sure I can actually learn cello. And I think instruments are something that you can't take lightly. Right. Where it takes so much money and so much time that if you're not going to do it seriously, it's not worth it. Yeah. In my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously you can play it for fun, but if you want to genuinely
if you're taking classes,
if you genuinely want to learn and be better at an instrument, a classical instrument, like I can't say for all instruments, but for a classical instrument, it's really hard to take it lightheartedly. Right. Especially because my parents are paying for all these lessons and these instrumental fees, which are like so expensive, right? And so like I had this mindset that I can't take this lightly, but my cello teacher, she also had that mindset, but she would not take it lightly at all. Like, and I'm a kid, right? And she would just like yell at me.
You said 4th grade, so how old?
So I started playing cello when I was in 4th grade, but I switched teachers. In 6th grade, and that's like my actual cello teacher that I had. Okay,
6th grade, you're about like 13.
I think 13.
Yeah,
and so
which is a lot for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, she was like, did you not practice at all? Are you like even serious about this? Can you not hear this note? I'm like, I can't hear this note. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Oh wow, yeah.
And she's like, hear it, like play it. And she'll like move my arm and like stuff like that. And she's like, listen, like, and she'll like close your eyes, like listen. And she was super harsh, but I think that really let me understand what it means to really focus on something.
Okay.
And I think as I got older and maybe she gave up on it, or she eased up a little bit, or I got better. I don't know. But
you don't know which came first.
I don't know what caused this, but she started getting like a lot easier to talk to. Like she would be like a lot more comforting. She's like, I get it. Like I also go through that. Or try it this way. Like she would speak more softly.
Yeah.
And then so now she's like one of the people that I'm the most thankful for in my life.
You're not in still contact with her or anything?
I will like contact her every like few years.
Oh, okay.
I haven't contacted her in a few years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I contacted her last like when I was a junior in undergrad. So.
Did you ever thank her for just like what she's put into your like build the philosophy for yourself and everything?
Yeah, I'm always thankful. So
Okay,
during my thesis defense, which is like the big ceremony for PhD students, it's like where you present your story of like what you've accomplished during your time as a PhD student and defending your work basically in front of like a panel of professors. Yeah. But it's like a pretty big event where you can invite all your like family, friends, and like previous teachers.
Oh, okay.
And so I would like to take the opportunity to invite her,
Oh.
even though she'll understand none of it. Just so at the end I can thank her for allowing me to be where I am now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so sweet. I love that. I think there's those moments where you could really have an impression on a kid, especially during that time, that really could just change the trajectory of the mindset of like it's just all about hard work. So do you feel like you ever apply that sort of logic? I mean, I'm sure you do, but to climbing, like that very intentional, and like sometimes progress doesn't feel like progress, and you're able to like just say, hey, showing up is sometimes just the battle sometimes.
I think it's slightly different for climbing with me because in a sense, because I want to keep it as a hobby instead of something more professional.
Right. Okay.
But also, all of you guys know, like all that climb with me, I don't really try that hard when I'm climbing or train that hard overall. I just do things because I want to hang out with my friends, essentially.
Which is impressive because which
is like pretty bad. I should try harder, but I think, but on the other side, it's a lot of like what it means to try to improve on something has been so ingrained in me,
right,
from all that training, that I think it does come out naturally. I'm trying to pay more attention to how my body's moving, or like what I can do better, or little things here and there to improve and stuff. Yeah, and
so you have that analytical sort of. You're not just doing climbing, just moving your body up a wall. You're probably just naturally doing it. And you're working at such a high level that it feels casual, but for maybe most people,
I don't know. I think it's more the fact that like when I have a setback where I feel like I'm really bad at something, it's easier for me to look at it and be like, oh, that's something I can improve on, rather than like, oh, I'm so bad at this.
Right. Reframing things is a very important.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can work on this too. Wow, there's so much I can work on. It sucks. It's hard, but it's.
You'd be surprised how many people that climb that don't just have that simple sort of adjustment in their mind, where it's like, oh, I just can't do this. Like that's where they always stop, and it's not like, oh, maybe this is like kind of constructively look at it in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously there's like some limitations for people that are like utterly out of their control, and I get it. But I think for me, I've been fortunate enough that I haven't come across such a roadblock in my life yet. In terms of climbing. That I think for the most part I can keep just trying to get better at things, and I'm really thankful again to my roommates, because like whenever people will say I just can't do it, like they'll be like, they're just talking shit, like they can't talk like that, and then so like they'll probably like stop me from getting in that mindset altogether.
Okay. The mindset of just like
I can't do it, like that's like something that none of us agree with, like for the most part. But it's so if one of us gets into that zone, I think we'll be there to like knock them out of it.
Just uplift them and be like,
I'm not sure if it'll be very uplifting, but it'll be like, you're being stupid. I think it's more
stop
like,
being that way.
I think it'll be more like that.
It's good to have people around you that really are able to speak to you in that way, where just like they know how to, a little bit like, is it say like a little bit degrading, but at the same time it's like a little,
they know how to get you to be motivated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but to let people in that way, I think that's special, because it could definitely, I mean, I've been saying this over and over again, but it could definitely step on some toes that people are like, definitely. People could easily get offended. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we're almost at almost at an hour. But is there anything else that you would like to add? Are you ticklish?
I am very ticklish.
Are you?
I'm like super ticklish. I'm like
to anybody randomly to.
Oh yeah, but okay. I think by reflex I would probably punch them or like knock them in some way or scream or something. But yeah, don't tickle me. That's okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess to cap it off, I don't know. This is random. This is something we were randomly talking about before, but to kind of solidify the age gap between us, not just like in numbers, but like I grew up playing Nintendo 64 and Game Boy, and then the first console that you ever played or like had was
the Wii, like for the TV, and then I had a Nintendo DS Lite.
Yeah,
that's my first handheld console. But I think compared to like all the kids my age, like I started playing handheld consoles pretty late.
Okay.
I had my first one when I was in second grade.
I think same for me as well. I started pretty late as well. But it was just, we were having that conversation earlier, and I'm just like, oh my God, there's such a big gap. But yeah, it's so easy to talk to you because you're just so mature for your age, I think.
You.
So
I never had like an actual flip phone just to like put another.
Oh my God, thanks. Oh my God. Wait, so you pretty much like grew up on the iPhone, right?
So like the first phone I ever had was like a slide phone where I had like all the keyboards.
Right.
Internet access. Oh. I could watch YouTube on it.
You can watch YouTube on it?
Yeah.
What?
And then the second phone I got was like an iPhone 4, I think, 4S or something.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, actually, it was someone had posted something about like a sidekick. Do you even know what a sidekick was?
Like a superhero and a sidekick?
No, this is a phone.
Oh,
a sidekick. So it's a phone that like, it's like this, and then you like, it flips around, the screen flips around, and you could have a keyboard underneath. It was just so like revolutionary.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It was, I think it was T-Mobile, I think that was like the phone carrier that had it, or like the service. But yeah, that was like super revolutionary. And then there's the Razor phone, which was I think it was called the Razor, but that was a flip phone.
Oh, my mom had a Razor phone. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember like you would drop it and then you would get these like black dots across the screen or something.
Right. Yeah. But damn, you never had a flip. You had YouTube on your phone.
I could play Sonic the Hedgehog on my phone.
Oh my God.
My
phone. I mean, YouTube wasn't even around when we were like had cell phones. Yeah. So that really puts in perspective. Anyways, yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast and just chatting. I'm sure you'll be on again if you want to be, but I just love talking to you. So thank you again, and thank you. Thank you for watching if you made this far. All right, peace.